Chapter 908 Demon-like Intelligence 1. This game is extremely simple. Let's guess who will die first, you or me. Ling Yin said with a smile. Sponsored content, cut the crap with him. Kill. Ling Yin was known to have demon-like intelligence. Although they had no idea what other cards Ling Yin had in his hand, they were a little restless when they faced such an intelligent person. Just in case anything happened, they had to kill Ling Yin in the fastest speed possible in order for their minds to be at ease. There are too many people that want my life. It's a pity that they always die before me. Ling Yin sighed softly. He turned a blind eye to the masses who surged towards him. He seemed completely relaxed, and no one could make sense of his calm composure. Swoosh! Sponsored content at the same time. A bolt of light appeared from somewhere and penetrated through the dozens of people present. That bolt of light was extremely blinding, and no one could withstand its lethality. Heavenly venerate. After sensing the power of this bolt of light, everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. Boom! Boom! In the next second, the bodies of the dozens of people turned into ashes from the bolt of light. Sponsored content witnessing the scene before him. Ling Yan's lips curled up slightly into a devilish smile. Such was the karma diversion. At this instant, the dozens of powerful figures who initially besieged Ling Yan were hit by the strike from the heavenly venerate due to the karma diversion. They turned into ashes and disappeared along with the wind. Anyone beneath a heavenly venerate is an ant, is it? Ling Yan stood with his hands behind him. His black hair danced in the wind as he looked up slowly with a faint smile. What about a heavenly venerate? At your peak, you were the demon god. Suddenly, the little azure dragon walked out from behind and spoke to Ling Yan. Demon god, you say? Ling Yan slowly looked away and shook his head gently. The so-called demon god had already become past tense. If possible, he hoped to become the legendary divine emperor in this lifetime and take a look at that even further, higher, and more mysterious world. Sponsored content. Ling Yin, you added the karma diversion on the heavenly demon pearl. This way, the strike of the heavenly venerate, which Yi Qingtang bore, will become your power boost. Not only will this resolve Yi Qingtang's crisis, but it even allowed you to obtain the inheritance of the true dragon. It truly is hitting two birds with one stone. The little azure dragon looked at Ling Yin and noted meaningfully. Hitting two birds with one stone, you say? Ling Yin smiled without saying much. However, I'm really curious about how you knew that Yi Qingtang would definitely be hit by a strike of a heavenly venerate. The little azure dragon was increasingly confused as it looked at Ling Yin. Before waiting for Ling Yin to speak, the little azure dragon suddenly said, "Don't say it yet. Let me take a guess. The Supreme Academy and Divine Virtual Academy are mortal enemies from the start. This time, a noble heir from the Feng ancient clan of the Central Mainland followed the team from the Divine Virtual Academy. Given his personality, he would definitely clash with the Supreme Academy, while the people from the Supreme Academy definitely would not dare to attack him because of his identity. And given Miss Yes' character, she would not watch from aside. But you lured the two Divine Virtual Academy disciples to the scene where Yi Qingtang killed perfected Guyun with a strike. The little azure dragon paused for a while and continued. As long as those two disciples tell the other Divine Virtual Academy disciples about the incident, the Divine Virtual Academy disciples would definitely be fearful or may treat Yi Qingtang as a heavenly venerate. As such, Yi Qingtang would have the opportunity to attack that noble. The more the little azure dragon spoke, the more it felt that its speculation was correct. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Note: please download the sponsor's game to support us. Chapter 909 Demon-like Intelligence 2. Although that noble skills are not powerful, as a noble heir of the Feng clan, he definitely had the means to protect his life and launch a deadly strike. In that case, your karma diversion was put to use, where you made use of the deadly strike from the noble heir of the Feng clan to help you obtain the inheritance of the true dragon. Am I right? The little azure dragon looked at Ling Yin with burning eyes. The more it speculated, the more it was overcome with emotion. Sponsored content. How intelligent is this Ling Yin exactly? He really possessed a demon-like intelligence. You are very smart too, Ling Yin said with a smile. Ling Yin, oh Ling Yin. From the moment you asked Missy to deal with perfected Gu Yun, you have already schemed everything. You are in control of the entire situation, have an incredible foresight, and are extremely shrewd. TSK, you have my admiration. The little azure dragon remarked sincerely. Probably no one in this world could fully grasp Ling Yin's plan. However, Ling Yin, no matter how intelligent you are, I can guess of whatever you think of as well. The little azure dragon spoke once again before Ling Yin could speak. Sponsored content, MHM. Ling Yin nodded and said, but it's a pity that you missed out some things. The little azure dragon was alarmed when it heard what Ling Yin said and immediately shook its head. Missed out some things? How can it be? How would I miss anything out? Ling Yin looked at the little azure dragon and chuckled. In your opinion, what would the Jiang clan do when I helped Missy to teach you, the granddaughter of the domain master Jiang Duantian, a lesson? Although the little azure dragon did not know why Ling Yin suddenly mentioned this, it still replied, I'm afraid you will be in great danger. Given your martial skills cultivation, since that's the case, what will happen if the Feng clan and the Jiang family fought? Ling Yin questioned again. Sponsored content, the Jiang family and the Feng clan? The little azure dragon was a little puzzled. The two ancient clans are extremely powerful. Although there are some minor conflicts usually, how could such strong ancient forces start a war for no reason? If someone from the Jiang family killed the grandson of the Feng ancient clan's grand elder, what would happen? Ling Yin smiled. Almost instinctively, the little azure dragon replied hurriedly. Do I still need to say? Of course, they would get to the bottom of it. But is that possible? That noble heir will die in Yi Qingtang's hands, wouldn't he? What has this got to do with the Jiang family? But who would know that Miss Yi obtained the heavenly demon pearl? Ling Yan's lips tugged up slightly. As a smile bloomed on his face, his expression appeared a little more detached. The little azure dragon stared at Ling Yan in shock. Not only did you add the power of the karma diversion on the heavenly demon pearl, but there's also the interfering aura from the karma. Sponsored content, that's right. Ling Yan nodded slightly and said, that grand elder of the Feng clan left a streak of his spiritual power on his grandson. Once something happens to his grandson, the spiritual power would resurrect. If he sees that a lady with the heavenly demon bloodline killed his grandson, how do you think the grand elder of the Feng clan would think? The little azure dragon narrowed its eyes and looked at Ling Yan. If that's the case, the grand elder of the Feng clan would definitely think that the murderer of his grandson is from the Jiang family. Because in the entire central mainland, only the Jiang family possesses the heavenly demon bloodline. Since you interacted with that Yiyu previously, you used the power of karma to absorb the aura of her bloodline and transferred it to the heavenly demon Pearly with the power of your karma diversion. So, no matter what, the grand elder of the Feng clan will definitely believe that it was a member of the Jiang family who killed his grandson. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Note: please download the sponsor's game to support us. Ling Yan's hair swayed gently as he looked down with a faint smile without saying anything. However, Ling Yan, that grand elder, should have seen Yi Qingtang's face. Will your plan really work? The little azure dragon was rather confused again. To kill perfected Gu Yun with one strike and still be alive after a venerate appeared, what do you think such a person's martial realm should be? Ling Yan asked. At least a heavenly venerate. The little azure dragon replied. What about Miss Yi? Ling Yan asked. Yi Qingtang? Just an ordinary yin-yang perfected lord. The little azure dragon answered honestly. The moment the little azure dragon spoke, a flash of light ran in his head instantly. It looked at Ling Yin with newfound realization and exclaimed, I understand now. The Divine Virtual Academy students would insist that it's not that they did not protect the Feng clan noble, but that the incomer was a heavenly venerate. Since that's the case, how could an ordinary Yin-Yang perfected lord kill a Feng clan noble, who had the protection of many powerful Divine Virtual Academy disciples? Thus, even if Yi Qingtang's luck was extremely bad and she is found by the Grand Elder of the Feng clan, he would not believe that his grandson was killed by her. Instead, he would feel that someone intentionally disguised into her appearance and wanted to push the blame to Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang's true skills happened to be able to confuse the Grand Elder's judgments. Everyone would insist that a heavenly venerate killed Feng Wuya. Thus, in the eyes of the Grand Elder, Yi Qingtang, a Yin-Yang perfected lord, would definitely not be the murderer. Even if the Grand Elder of the Feng clan saw Yi Qingtang's face previously, he definitely would not believe that she was the one who did it. After all, the martial realms did not match at all. How could a young girl at the Yin-Yang perfected lord realm kill Feng Wuya, who was protected by the Divine Virtual Academy disciples? Furthermore, the Feng clan had always been suspicious and would naturally overcomplicate Feng Wuya's murder. Fraudulence, disguising of identity. The Feng clan would probably have such speculations. The little azure dragon looked at Ling Yin in shock. This person was truly meticulous in his actions, and there was no flaw to be spoken of. Every step in his scheme was a dead end with no way out for others. Ling Yin, if I guess correctly, you want the Feng clan to attack the Jiang family, not for yourself. There's completely no need for you to provoke the Jiang family. You must have done so for Yi Qingtang. The little azure dragon looked at Ling Yin meaningfully. The Jiang family and Ling Yin did not have many relations, and Ling Yin did not need to deal with the Jiang family at all. Rather, Yi Yu and Yi Qingtang were mortal enemies, but Yi Yu became the granddaughter of the domain master, Jiang Duantian. As such, if Yi Qingtang headed to the central mainland, she would be in critical danger any time. The little azure dragon could ascertain that the true reason Ling Yin schemed against the Jiang family and drew such a huge enemy to the Feng clan was to protect Yi Qingtang. Miss Yi, you say? An unnamed coldness emerged in Ling Yan's eyes. I will let anyone who has evil designs on Miss Yi have a taste of extreme misery like that of in hell. TSK, TSK. Are you still the Ling Yin I know? After hearing what Ling Yin said, the little azure dragon looked at him with an ambiguous expression. If that's the case, you can get to know me again. The icy expression in his eyes faded away, and he resumed his usual faint smile on his face. There's a common saying here. Once one's martial skills reach their peak, they can destroy all evil plots. However, everything is relative. Once demonic intelligence reaches a certain level, it can destroy all gods, surpass all martial chi, and destroy the heavens in one stroke. The little azure dragon looked at Ling Yin and shook its head. At that moment, on a certain mountain ridge, Yi Qingtang studied her surroundings. The mightiest blow by a heavenly venerate had actually dissipated completely. Ling Yan's karma diversion. Yi Qingtang frowned deeply. The heavenly demon bloodline. A cold light glinted in the virtual image's eyes when it sensed the aura emitted by Yi Qingtang. You are a clansman of the domain monarch, Jiang Duantian. After hearing what the old man said, Yi Qingtang did not speak, but appeared thoughtful. Perhaps Ling Yin had used karma diversion to move the aura of Yi Yu's bloodline to her body. When blended with the aura from the heavenly demon pearl, it had caused the heavenly venerate to mistake her for a member of the Jiang clan. Ling Yin, oh Ling Yin, how well you have calculated. She had not thought that Ling Yin would have prepared all this in advance. However, since Ling Yin had already arranged all this, she did not need to waste these plans. Yi Qingtang contemplated inwardly. When he saw that Yi Qingtang did not reply, the old man became even more certain. This girl, who has such a strong aura of the heavenly demon bloodline, must certainly be a member of the Jiang family. Our Feng clan and your Jiang family have always kept clear of each other. Today, you have broken the rules. The virtual image spoke coldly. Further, this girl had earlier withstood the force of his scoff. In terms of martial skills, she was at least at the level of a heavenly venerate. In the entirety of the central mainland, even within the entire first domain, a heavenly venerate with heavenly demon bloodlines could only be found in the Jiang family. Yi Qingtang clearly understood that this virtual image had taken her for a member of the Jiang family. Yi Qingtang naturally did not reveal her status. In order to hide her true status, she did not even draw her sword. She stepped forward and appeared in front of Feng Wuya. In a flash, Yi Qingtang gripped Feng Wuya's neck and lifted him in midair. "Grandfather, save me." At that moment, veins bulged in Feng Wuya's forehead. His eyes were bloodshot, and his feet danced in midair as he cried out with difficulty. He was the grandson of the Grand Elder of the Feng clan. Everyone had looked up to him since the day he was born. With his lofty position, he had never experienced this kind of terror. "Release my grandson. Could it be that you want to start a war between the Feng family and the Jiang family?" The virtual image spoke angrily when he saw Yi Qingtang lift up Feng Wuya. Yi Qingtang swept a cold glance at the ashen Feng Wuya in her grip. She raised her eyes slightly, looked at the virtual image, and scoffed coldly. "What a joke! Who does the Feng clan think they are? Could it be that the Feng clan does not know who the first domain belongs to? How dare you?" The virtual image raged. "Does the Jiang family really think that the first domain belongs to them? How dare you? After I, a heavenly venerate, arrived, your grandson dared to be discourteous to me. If it were anyone else, I would have already killed his entire family. Today, I'm only killing your grandson. You should count yourself fortunate." With that, Yi Qingtang did not give the virtual image an opportunity to say anything else. A cold gleam of light suddenly flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes. Her hand exerted a force and instantly crushed Feng Wuya's neck. Feng Wuya's neck immediately broke with a crack. His head drooped limply, and blood seeped from his eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. He was dead on the spot. Feng Wuya's face was written with shock and terror, up to the moment of his death. He had never dreamt that he would die here. As Feng Wuya's life ebbed away, the trace of aura lingering in his body also dissipated, and the virtual image vanished. At that moment, in the territory of an ancient clan in central mainland, a certain old man's half-shut eyes suddenly opened. A terrifying aura instantly and completely shrouded the territory of the ancient clan. The weather changed as if even the land was shuddering under the rage of the old man. "Jiang, family." The old man's eyes were filled with murderous intent. His voice was like thunder that tore the dark clouds asunder. Amidst the dragon vein forests, when all the disciples of the Supreme Academy and the Divine Virtual Academy saw the tragic way Feng Wuya died, they were all terrified. Their expressions were filled with disbelief. That was the grandson of the Grand Elder of the ancient Feng clan. He had died just like that. Finished. The leader of the youths from the Divine Virtual Academy was as pale as a corpse. His body was drenched in cold sweat. It was as if his entire body had been drained of energy. Feng Wuya had followed them into the dragon vein. Now, Feng Wuya had died tragically on this land. How were they supposed to give an account to the ancient Feng clan when they returned? Everyone from the Divine Virtual Academy was both shocked and terrified. No one dared to make a false move. Although the ancient Feng clan was terrifying, the heavenly venerate in front of them was equally frightening. Further, even if the ancient Feng clan wanted to call them to account, it would only be after they returned to central mainland. But this heavenly venerate was right before their eyes. If she so wished, she could immediately take their lives. What a pity! Yi Qingtang stared at Feng Wuya, who had died. On Feng Wuya's hand was an exquisite space ring. As the grandson of the Grand Elder of the ancient Feng clan, Feng Wuya's space ring would certainly contain unimaginable treasures. What a pity that, as her current status as Heavenly Venerate, she could not snatch away Feng Hui's space ring in front of everyone. If she really did that, it would arouse suspicion. With that thought, Yi Qingtang's gaze swept towards the group from the Divine Virtual Academy. Thump! Before Yi Qingtang could react, the young man, who was the leader of the Divine Virtual Academy, suddenly knelt on the ground. His face filled with panic as he said, Senior Heavenly Venerate, this Feng Huiya was guilty of the most heinous crimes. He forced us all. We had no choice. That's right. We have long been unhappy with that beast, Feng Huiya. Senior Heavenly Venerate, that bastard Feng Huiya used his status as the grandson of the Grand Elder of the ancient Feng clan to lord over us. Not to talk about the young and pretty female disciples of the Supreme Academy. Even in our Divine Virtual Academy, he forcefully robbed many of our junior and senior sisters of their innocence. Senior Heavenly Venerate, Feng Huiya's death is not worth mourning over. Senior, you have gotten rid of an evil person. This killing is good, truly good. At that moment, everyone from the Divine Virtual Academy was absolutely terrified. This person had killed Feng Huiya without batting an eye. If she wanted to kill them, would it not be like crushing an ant? At that moment, they could only plead for her to allow them to live. Naturally, each of them mustered all their energy to show contempt of Feng Huiya, desperate to sever all connections with him. Get lost. Yi Qingtang flicked her sleeves. She had no interest in talking nonsense with them. When they heard Yi Qingtang's words, everyone from the Divine Virtual Academy nodded vigorously. They immediately fled after receiving amnesty. They were all deeply afraid that Yi Qingtang would change her mind. They fled the place as fast as they could. Their only regret was that their parents had not given them a few more legs of birth. Senior Sister Yi, as they looked at the fleeing figures of the people from the Divine Virtual Academy, Li Xiao, Feng Wudong, and Gu Tianhe walked towards Yi Qingtang. Senior Sister Yi needs to be more careful. After all, Feng Huiya is the grandson of the Grand Elder of the ancient Feng clan. Now that Senior Sister Yi has executed him, the ancient Feng clan will not let take this lying down. When he heard what Gu Tianhe said, Li Xiao said, Senior Sister Yi is a heavenly venerate. Since she dared to kill Feng Huiya, she is not afraid of the ancient Feng clan. There is no need for you to worry unnecessarily. Gu Tianhe nodded when he heard that. Only then did he truly realize that this senior sister, Yi, was a heavenly venerate. There was nothing to worry about even if she took the life of an ordinary virtual arcane supremacy. Yi Qingtang said to Feng Wudong, Gu Tianhe, and the others, I still have other matters to attend to. All of you have to be careful in the dragon vein. Don't worry, Senior Sister Yi, said Li Xiao. Is Senior Sister Yi going to the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix? Gu Tianhe asked curiously as he looked at Yi Qingtang. That's right. Yi Qingtang nodded in agreement without denying it. Gu Tianhe, Feng Wudong, and the others had previously followed the guidance of the wintry yang aura and passed by the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix. However, for some reason, the wintry yang aura seemed to repel them. Very few powerful people could be led within by the wintry yang aura. When she heard this news from Gu Tianhe and the others, Yi Qingtang remained composed and showed no signs of surprise. It was natural for high-level inheritances of this nature to be like that. It was not that the person chose the inheritance, but that the inheritance chose the person. Not just anyone could enter the eye of the inheritance. It was naturally like the heavenly demon pearl, which was an inheritance from the heavenly demon. Yi Qingtang had originally wanted to obtain the inheritance from the heavenly demon, but Yi Yu had obtained it first, and Yi Qingtang had taken it later. The meaning was completely different. Under the reverent gaze of the group from the Supreme Academy, Yi Qingtang slowly moved farther and farther away until she vanished from their sight. With the guidance of the wintry yang aura, after half a day, Yi Qingtang traversed the mountain range and arrived at an idyllic valley. Yi Qingtang saw over 10 men and women, both young and old, gathered at a stream. The aura of the divine arcane supremacy appeared among them. Every one of these 10-plus people had a formidable presence. They could not be compared with an ordinary arcane supremacy. Yin-Yang Child. Yi Qingtang gaze swept over the group of people. At a glance, she saw that Yin-Yang Child and the others were also among them. Yi Qingtang immediately shook her head secretly. Why had Yin-Yang Child come to the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix instead of going to the inheritance of the True Dragon? Then she saw another girl arrive. Everyone's gaze moved over to study her and then moved aside after a while. Ah, this inheritance of the Divine Phoenix is so lively. But not just anyone can come here and be acknowledged by the Divine Phoenix. An elegant-looking girl dressed in green with a sword girded about her waist glanced at Yi Qingtang, then turned up her nose and sneered. 100 meters away from the spring lay a route that everyone had to pass through. It was covered by a pale red screen. To contest for the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix, one must first obtain the recognition from the Divine Phoenix. Otherwise, one would not even have the qualifications to contest for the inheritance, much less obtain it. A moment later, Yi Qingtang calmly walked towards the pale red screen with great strides. In just an instant, Yi Qingtang passed through the screen. Many were surprised by what they saw. This lady actually obtained the Divine Phoenix's recognition so easily. Amongst them, there were people who even tried over 10 times before barely passing through the screen. "It's you?" After Yi Qingtang entered the screen, Yin-Yang Child recognized her at first sight. Yin-Yang Child immediately stood up and glared at Yi Qingtang furiously. Although Yin-Yang Child's skills were powerful, he was rather young, only about 13 or 14, and thus he was half of Yi Qingtang's height when he stood before Yi Qingtang. "What happened, little fellow?" Yi Qingtang looked at Yin-Yang Child and chuckled with smiles in her eyes. "What did you say, little fellow? Who are you calling little fellow?" After hearing Yi Qingtang's address, Yin-Yang Child was instantly taken aback. A long while later, his eyes twinkled with threat, and an intent to kill Yi Qingtang arose. "Where exactly is my father's 9 sons' Seas Souls book? How dare you all trick me and lead me to where Black and White Holy Sun was?" Yin-Yang Child shouted sternly as he glared at Yi Qingtang. Just because of what Ling Yin said, he actually crossed paths with Black and White Holy Sun when he was heading to find the 9 sons' Seas Souls book. Yin-Yang Child and Black and White Holy Sun were foes, and both of them could be said to be like fire and water. Every time they met, they would be caught up in a long and intense fight. Yet, Yin-Yang Child's skills were worse than Black and White Holy Sun's. When both of them met a while ago, Yin-Yang Child was almost killed by Black and White Holy Sun. Seeing Yi Qingtang right now, Yin-Yang Child was obviously searing with fury. Yi Qingtang indiscreetly glanced across the people on the screen, where she happened to see another figure. That person was none other than Yin-Yang Child's enemy, Black and White Holy Sun. The two who were originally fire and water, however, remained within this screen safely. Even after seeing how exasperated Yin-Yang Child was, Black and White Holy Sun remained at a spot far away, as though he did not have any intention to fight with Yin-Yang Child at all. A thought suddenly emerged in Yi Qingtang's mind. Her eyes swept across the other people within the screen, and she understood the situation. Subsequently, Yi Qingtang spoke plainly. "I'm not your father. You should ask your father if you want the 9 sons' Seas Souls book." It was as though she was utterly ignorant of the murderous intent in Yin-Yang Child's eyes. "It seems you have a death wish." Yin-Yang Child was infuriated immediately. He condensed all his strength in his left palm and aimed towards Yi Qingtang's glabella. The power of this hit was extremely frightening, and even the sturdiest metals would be crushed into pieces by Yin-Yang Child's attack. However, Yi Qingtang did not dodge or avoid Yin-Yang Child's attack, and an unknowing scoff played on her lips. In a flash, Yin-Yang Child's palm landed violently, and a piercing sound lingered in the air. However, just as Yin-Yang Child's palm was less than 3 inches away from Yi Qingtang, a scarlet gleam suddenly appeared from midair and pushed Yin-Yang Child to the ground. "How hateful!" Yin-Yang Child stood up in helpless rage. This is the divine phoenix's land of inheritance. How can you behave so impudently here? Yi Qingtang cast Yin Yangchild a look and said coldly. Indeed, her speculation was right. She found it strange since just now. Given the conflict between Yin Yangchild and Black and White Holy Sun, how could they remain at the same place in peace? Perhaps it was not that they suddenly decided to bury the hatchet, but that they were simply forbidden from attacking each other within this screen in the land of inheritance. Coming to think of it, the supreme great inheritance here had great spiritual wisdom, and trialists favored upon by the inheritance were completely forbidden from attacking each other. Otherwise, if someone's skills overrode the others and he killed everyone else, wouldn't the inheritance belong to him without a doubt? As such, once any trialist attacks another trialist in such a land of inheritance, the inheritance would step in to prevent such an incident from happening. No matter how powerful one was, he was still unable to unleash his skills to harm others once in this land of inheritance. Otherwise, not mentioning the conflict between Yin Yangchild and Black and White Holy Sun, the other people within the screen would probably already have fought each other with their lives to contend for the inheritance. How would there still be so many people standing around foolishly? Yi Qingtang sensed the abnormality from the start and vaguely guessed the rules in this land of inheritance. As such, even if she saw that Yin Yangchild wanted to kill her, she was never anxious. Anyway, they had already entered the land of inheritance, and all Yin Yangchild could do was to glare at her no matter how annoyed he was. Yin Yangchild, you still have the temperament of a child. She agitated you on purpose, and you still foolishly attacked her. A teenager in black armor mocked when he saw Yin Yangchild being thrown onto the ground forcefully by the power of the divine phoenix. Black and White Holy Sun, I didn't think that you would actually treat this kind of person as your opponent. Isn't it too boring? Without giving Yin Yangchild a chance to speak, the teenager in black armor commented again with a smile as he looked at a good-looking man whose hair reached his waist. Upon hearing that, the good-looking man, who was referred to as Black and White Holy Sun, shot a distant look at the teenager. You talk too much. Do I? The teenager sneered. He was about to continue saying something, but a solemn voice rang in the air. Any trialist who attacks others again will be expelled from here. Everyone could not help but be taken aback when they heard it. The inheritance of the divine phoenix finally appeared. The divine phoenix's voice appeared only for one moment and disappeared without a trace. That's strange. Didn't the divine phoenix already die in the battle? Why did the divine phoenix's voice appear here? Right? Could it be that the divine phoenix did not even die and was searching for an inheritor here instead? Everyone was curious about the appearance of the divine phoenix's voice, and there were many discussions about it. The divine phoenix did pass on. However, such supreme beings can still keep a tiny trace of its spirit alive, even if it had died for millions of years. This remaining spirit is the protector and ruler of the divine phoenix's land of inheritance. One must obtain its permission in order to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. Anyone who snatches by force will face a tragic ending regardless if the person was a holy venerate or holy venerate. An emotionless voice rang at that moment. Upon hearing it, everyone looked in the direction of the source of the voice. A man was sitting cross-legged by a stream. His long, purple hair reached his waist while his eyes remained shut. Absolute monarch of heaven. After they recognized the man, the person's face changed slightly. Absolute monarch of heaven was one of the extraordinary talents of the younger generation in Central Mainland. He possessed outstanding talents and was ranked near the top of the honor roll list. Yi Qingtang's eyes followed everyone's line of sight and slowly landed on the absolute monarch of heaven. When she saw the face of the man, Yi Qingtang was stunned. The purple-haired man before her was so familiar. In Yi Qingtang's previous life, she became sworn siblings with 6 brothers, one of whom was the absolute monarch of heaven before her. Yi Qingtang never thought that she would meet the absolute monarch of heaven at this place. As she looked at him sitting cross-legged by the stream and his long, purple hair dancing in the wind bewitchingly, reminiscence filled her. Memories of the time spent with the 6 sworn brothers flooded her mind. Those were the few memories from her past life that were worth looking back on. Although many scenes filled her mind, Yi Qingtang quickly looked away at this instant. In this life, she did not have any relations with the absolute monarch of heaven yet, and he was not her sworn brother. It was thus better to not look at him for too long, or else it would arouse the suspicion of the absolute monarch of heaven. Haha, I was wondering who it was. So is the absolute monarch of heaven. However, absolute monarch of heaven, how do you know so much? The man in black armor looked at absolute monarch of heaven and asked with a smile. However, absolute monarch of heaven no longer gave any response. The man in black armor did not gain any reply, and he did not say anything more either. When is the trial starting? At this instant, many powerful figures exchanged a look. The divine phoenix spoke just now, but it was only one sentence, and it did not make any sound again after that. Currently, no one could give any answers, and the only thing they could do was to wait. As for when they had to wait until, no one was clear. After all, the divine phoenix did not give any more hints. Yi Qingtang was not anxious. Seeing that the trial for the inheritance of the divine phoenix had not opened, she was not as restless as the others. Instead, she found a quiet place to sit and consolidate her martial cultivation. No one could conjecture the divine phoenix's meaning. Since that was the case, all she needed to do was to wait patiently and not waste energy. Presently, Yi Qingtang's martial cultivation had already entered the Yin-Yang perfected Lord Third Heaven and was steadily advancing towards Yin-Yang perfected Lord Fourth Heaven. In no time, she could make a breakthrough to the Fourth Heaven. Time ticked away. The bright sky turned dark and back bright again. This cycle continued for about half a month. As time passed, every minute became unknowing torture to the people within the screen. For the entire half a month, the divine phoenix never appeared. The patience of the people awaiting the inheritance of the divine phoenix eroded away bit by bit. No one knew exactly when the trial for the inheritance of the divine phoenix would begin. Remaining within the screen, it was as though they were waiting for a destiny so far in the indefinite future. They did not have any clue about it and did not know its deadline. In this half a month, some cultivators ran out of patience and left the land of inheritance halfway. However, when they returned and tried to step into the screen again, they were isolated outside and could no longer enter the screen at all. Everyone understood the current situation. Once any one of them left the land of inheritance, it would be impossible for them to enter it again. Yet, even if they remained in the land of inheritance, the inheritance of the divine phoenix did not appear. Chapter 9:17, The Divine Phoenix's Trial 2. The passing of time gradually became a form of torture. One would not have the opportunity to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix should he leave, but if he remained, no one knew when would the wait end. The wait was so long it seemed forever, until a month later, several cultivators lamented and left. All of their patience had been eroded by this indefinite wait. With the continuous departures, only 2/3 of the trialists remained in the land of inheritance. Apart from the endless wait, procuring food was a significant issue as well. Although it was said that one's need for food would reduce as the cultivation realm increased, they still needed to consume something. While everyone had a space ring, which powerful figure would store large quantities of food in their space ring. The little amount of food that they brought was quickly depleted. Fortunately, there were wild fruits nearby that could replenish their energy. Otherwise, no one could persevere this long. 2 months later, the divine phoenix's voice appeared once again. To the masses within the screen, its voice could be claimed to be heavenly. "Congratulations, you all have passed the first round of the trial," said a scarlet virtual image that appeared in the sky. After hearing the divine phoenix's voice again, everyone was delighted but also dumbfounded when they heard what the divine phoenix said. "Congratulations, they have passed the first round of the trial." What did that mean? Very quickly, the people understood the meaning behind the divine phoenix's words. Ever since they entered the land of inheritance, the trial of the divine phoenix had already begun. It was, however, that no one knew about it. The endless, indefinite wait was the first trial that the Divine Phoenix gave them. Those cultivators who had already left were equivalent to those who had not passed the first round of the trial. Enchanting opened her eyes slowly. 2 months was not torture to her. Everyone has been here for about 2 months and must be extremely exhausted already. Please come with me. After saying that, its scarlet figure floated ahead immediately. Noticing the situation, everyone, including Enchanting, followed after the Divine Phoenix without hesitation. About an hour later, everyone followed the Divine Phoenix and reached a small bamboo forest. As soon as they entered the small bamboo forest, the aroma of food entered their noses. Just the aroma was enough to cause one to salivate. Moreover, these were people who had been eating wild fruits for 2 months. When everyone looked up, they noticed a huge, long table not far away from them. That long table could seat hundreds of people. All sorts of rare and exotic delicacies from around the world were displayed on the table. After leading the group here, the Divine Phoenix said gently, "You all have only been relying on wild fruits to fill your stomach over the past 2 months. All of you must be very tired and famished right now. Please take a seat." After hearing the Divine Phoenix's orders, everyone immediately dispersed and took a seat. "Please," the Divine Phoenix said. Everyone had been eating wild fruits for 2 months and did not have much of an appetite with the Divine Phoenix present. They did not dare to overly display their desire for food. However, since the Divine Phoenix had already spoken, some cultivators expressed their thanks and immediately wolfed down the food, as though they wanted to make up for the fine delicacies they did not eat in the past 2 months at one go. However, as those cultivators were eating heartily, some others frowned and did not take any action. Seated at the side of the long table, Enchanting looked at the delicacies plainly without any intention to consume them. "Why are you all not eating?" Sensing the behavior of those people, the Divine Phoenix's eyes landed on Enchanting, and it asked in confusion. Enchanting slowly stood up and replied with cupped fists. "I just think it is a little strange. Thus, I did not start eating." Strange, the Divine Phoenix was taken aback. "So you're saying that these delicacies are poisoned?" Upon hearing that, the cultivators who were wolfing down the food stopped eating immediately and looked at the Divine Phoenix in shock. This Divine Phoenix could not have really poisoned the delicacies, could it? "It's not that I think you poisoned us." Enchanting shook her head and said slowly, "I just feel that it's a little odd only." "Tell me what is odd," the Divine Phoenix said calmly. "How could there be food in this mystic realm? Let's talk about this wine first. It requires specialized brewing, and there are no ingredients in the valley that could make it, let alone the technical process of making the wine." Enchanting explained slowly and continued, "Even if the ingredients are available, I believe that you may not know how to make wine. Even if you do know, you may not have the tools. Next, these delicacies have a delightful appearance and smell. However, you do not have a physical body. How can you make these items? Moreover, the Divine Phoenix clan is adept at illusions. Hence, I feel that all of this is probably an illusion which you created, Lord Divine Phoenix." Enchanting looked up slightly at the Divine Phoenix with clear eyes. "Illusion?" After hearing Enchanting's explanation, the cultivators who were eating their hearts out found it rather unbelievable. If this was an illusion, it was a little too real. The taste of the wine and delicacies still lingered in their tongues. Moreover, there were so many of them present, and the Divine Phoenix did not have any chance to execute an illusion on them. Naturally, it was a different affair if the Divine Phoenix was incredibly powerful. "You think that this is an illusion?" The Divine Phoenix looked at Enchanting. "It's only my guess. I cannot be sure." Enchanting replied. "What about you?" The Divine Phoenix looked at Enchanting. "Me? I'm afraid you would poison me." Enchanting replied straightly. "You?" Very quickly, the Divine Phoenix looked at Black and White Holy Sun. "My body constitution is special. I don't need to eat or drink." Black and White Holy Sun replied with a slight shrug. "What about you then?" The Divine Phoenix looked at the absolute monarch of heaven a while later. "Am not hungry," replied the absolute monarch of heaven. The majority of the people at the scene thought that it was a little strange. Due to their habitual cautiousness, they did not begin eating. What about you? Why did you eat? A moment later, the divine phoenix looked at the cultivators who consumed the food. What? The cultivator who was pointed out by the divine phoenix was slightly dumbfounded. Didn't you ask us to eat? You? The divine phoenix looked at another person. I'm hungry, that cultivator replied. I understand now. The divine phoenix nodded after gaining the answers. As the divine phoenix finished its sentence, the small bamboo forest shattered like glass pieces. Everyone's expressions changed drastically when they returned to their senses. Currently, they were still beside the stream of the mountain valley. Where the delicacies from before? Everyone looked around their surroundings. The stream before their eyes was more than familiar. From the very start till the end, all of them had never left this place at all. Illusion. Several cultivators who were proficient in illusion techniques were completely shaken. They were extremely accomplished in the field of illusions and definitely could sense it if an illusion technique was cast on them. However, the illusion cast by this divine phoenix was simply flawless and was no different from reality. It was as though they entered the illusory space from reality in a second without any signs of it. Who could have sensed that such a sophisticated move was an illusion? How can this be? The cultivators who consumed the delicacies a while ago were dumbstruck. After feasting, they clearly felt the wine passing down their throats and the delicacies filling their stomachs. How could this be an illusion? This was too frighteningly real. The divine phoenix had passed away with the true dragon many years ago. Currently, this scarlet virtual image was merely the last trace of the spirit of the divine phoenix. Could it be that the last remaining spirit of the divine phoenix was so powerful? How terrifying was this power? If the divine phoenix wanted to use the illusion technique to massacre them, it could do that in an instant. If the divine phoenix wanted to do harm, everyone at the scene would already have died. It's a pity that you all are not cautious enough. I told you all to eat, and so did you all. If I told you all to die, would you all listen obediently as well? The divine phoenix sighed as it looked at those cultivators who ate heartily and were currently at a loss right now. A few cultivators were a little baffled. Of course, there was no problem in following the orders if they were told to dig in and feast, but it was definitely impossible if they were told to die without giving the cultivators a chance to speak. The divine phoenix shook its head rather disappointingly. You all are not cautious enough, and the inheritance of the divine phoenix must not land in the hands of careless and impatient people. After it spoke, the cultivators' bodies exploded instantly and turned into chopped pieces. Many cultivators were left agape by what they saw. Even if they did not pass the divine phoenix's assessment, it did not get to the point where it had to kill those people, did it? Who knew if they could pass the assessment? If they were unable to, wouldn't they die as well? At this moment, everyone could not help but begin to feel that the cultivators who left out of impatience at the very first round of trials were extremely lucky. Although those people did not pass the first round, they did not have to worry about their lives. Currently, the inheritance of the divine phoenix has already begun. From the second round onward, victors can obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix, while failures only have the fate of death. Anyone who is afraid can withdraw. The divine phoenix announced coldly. I withdraw. A lady took a step forward immediately and said after a moment of hesitation, only one person could obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. In that case, out of the remaining 30+ people, only one person could live, who was willing to gamble with their lives. May I ask how many people will eventually obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix? A young man asked with a frown. Only one. The scarlet figure replied. If that's the case, I will withdraw as well. The young man lamented and shook his head. Forget it. It seems that the inheritance of the divine phoenix, and I have no fate. I will withdraw too. I will withdraw as well. Only one person can live. It's almost a definite death for us. In just a short while, 8 cultivators withdrew from the trial. They did not have full confidence to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. If they failed, the only option they had was death. Risking their lives for a destiny was too horrifying. No one had the courage to face such a gamble with only a slight chance of survival. You all don't even have such little amount of courage. How can you all have the qualifications to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix? The scarlet figure looked in disappointment at the 8 people who withdrew. Courage? Is courage more important than our lives? One of the people who withdrew answered with a frown. However, the moment that person finished speaking, the scene before everyone's eyes shattered once again. Everyone was awakened. The cultivators who were previously crushed by the divine phoenix were standing at their original location, well and alive. It was as though the gruesome scene from before never appeared. Even the smell of blood that lingered in the air had disappeared without a trace in an instant. It's an illusion again, Enchanting mumbled to herself. Everything that happened just now was probably another trial by divine phoenix. The divine phoenix intentionally let everyone watch the scene of the cultivators being crushed as a test of their courage and determination. The trials that the divine phoenix set were closely linked, and the illusions were extremely realistic. Even an illusion master was probably unable to distinguish illusion from reality. No one would suspect anything when encountering such a high-level illusion. Even Yi Qingtang thought that those cultivators were killed by the divine phoenix. Never had she thought that this was actually still an illusion cast by the divine phoenix. This is all thanks to Ling Yin, Yi Qingtang mumbled. If Ling Yin did not clearly tell her that she would definitely be able to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix, she probably would have thought of withdrawing as well. This was not because Yi Qingtang was not courageous or determined enough. In this rebirth, she still had many unfinished things. If she died at this moment, what difference was there from her previous life? Having to meet death just because of the inheritance of the divine phoenix, Yi Qingtang naturally had to weigh her options carefully. Moreover, the dimension wall of this mainland had already shattered. In no time, that mysterious ancient clan would arrive to collect that extraordinary lattice spiritual abode and destroy this entire mainland. The reason she required the inheritance of the divine phoenix, and for coming to the dragon vein, was all to become more powerful and eventually fight against those outsiders. Before that, she must not gamble with her life. Once she lost the gamble, not only would she die, but everyone in Xianling's sect, Yi family, her father, and friend would all die as well. She could not take this gamble. This time, her life did not belong to herself. If she died, she would not be able to save many others. You all lack awareness, courage, and determination. The inheritance of the divine phoenix must not be given to you all. The divine phoenix looked disappointedly at the 8 cultivators who initiated to withdraw and those who were not cautious and shook its head. As the divine phoenix finished speaking, 10+ people were sent out of the land of inheritance and disappeared. The assessment will continue. The divine phoenix spoke. May I ask what assessment it is? Yin Child asked curiously. Upon hearing that, the young man in black armor convulsed with laughter. Are you a fool? If the divine phoenix really told you, wouldn't you be prepared for it? Are you foolish, or did you treat Lord Divine Phoenix as a fool? What business is it of yours? Yin Child said coldly as he looked at the youth in black armor. The youth in black armor was stunned. He was just about to speak when at the same moment, the divine phoenix said, "No matter. He'll tell you. The next test is lust." Lust. When they heard the divine phoenix's words, everyone exchanged glances. What did that mean? To be precise, is temptation. Your temptation will be actively produced by what you have seen and heard, the divine phoenix said. Realization dawned after they heard the divine phoenix's words. Divine phoenix, we will certainly be prepared now that you have revealed it. No matter how tempted we feel, we cannot possibly be moved, so what is the purpose of the next stage's test? A middle-aged man was puzzled. The divine phoenix had not given them any hints in the previous stages. Why was it suddenly being so agreeable now? They were not stupid. Since they knew it was a test and that the situation was obviously created by the divine phoenix, they would not fall into the trap. The divine phoenix only calmly shook its head in response to the middle-aged man's doubts. This time, I will strip you of your ability to think rationally. You'll not think that it is a test. I want to observe your instincts. Strip them of their ability to think rationally? What did that mean? Could it be that the divine phoenix was so powerful it could control their thinking? Everyone was shocked, but they had no time for further consideration. As the divine phoenix spoke, complete silence fell on the valley. As they entered a trance, a dense fog descended. Young child stood in the black fog. A delicate fragrance seemed to linger in his surroundings. Beside him stood a girl of stunning beauty. Her clothes were in disarray, and her eyes exuded tenderness. Young child looked rather puzzled. He did not know where he was or what he was doing. His mind was blank and completely devoid of former memories. He looked at this girl of stunning beauty. He did not know where she had popped out from. "Come," a voice that was so soft it sank into his bones, slowly rang out. The stunningly beautiful girl narrowed her lovely eyes slightly and waved at Young child with her right hand. Her hand was so soft, it was almost boneless. This careless action seemed to contain all kinds of flirtatious expressions. Her fluid glances seemed to encompass all that was beautiful in this world. Young child looked at the girl of unparalleled beauty before him. He was not moved at all. Instead, he frowned and shouted coldly, "Whose mate is this? Get lost. Don't hold up my cultivation." Young child did not know where he was or why he was here. Only the path of pursuing power he had always pursued remained buried deep in his heart. So what if he was faced with beauty? Young child was only 13 or 14. What did he know of love between a man and a woman? He was intent only on hastening his cultivation and upgrading himself as fast as possible so that he could press his sworn enemy, Black and White Holy Sun, to the ground and pound him with a hammer. At the same time, not just Young child, but Black and White Holy Sun, the youth in black armor, absolute monarch of heaven, and the 20 over men and women present, including enchanting, were all in the same situation. They had all sunken into the same state. They had forgotten the inheritance of the divine phoenix, forgotten the dragon vein, forgotten everything. The dense fog dissipated a little. A faint light shone. Yi Qingtang looked around. Before her was the interior of a dimly lit room. This was before Yi Qingtang could think clearly. She suddenly sensed a trace of a strange aura coming from behind her. Chapter 9:22 Faced with Beauty 3. Yi Qingtang instinctively turned around. She was taken aback by what she saw. A handsome man with an icy expression and absolutely emotionless eyes was standing quietly within her line of sight. At a glance, Yi Qingtang recognized this man with a frosty cold demeanor. "Since you have nothing with which to repay me, you should marry me." Han Saming slowly extended his hand to Yi Qingtang. He spoke coldly as his icy cold gaze fell on Yi Qingtang, Lord of the Antiquity Palace. Han Saming. Yi Qingtang's whole body shuddered when she saw this ferocious and cold man. How did she run into this fellow? Yi Qingtang's scalp prickled when she heard Han Kangming's familiar, "Marry me." Yi Qingtang almost instinctively turned to flee. She was terrified that Han Sangming would see the heart of the demon god within her. Just as Yi Qingtang turned to leave swiftly, a voice suddenly rang out from behind her. "Miss Yi." Yi Qingtang paused, her foot just touching the threshold. The voice behind her was completely different from the previous icy one. Instead, it seemed to contain infinite tenderness. In a daze, Yi Qingtang turned slightly and looked behind her. This glance stunned Yi Qingtang. Han Sangming, who had been standing behind her, had vanished. Instead, a man who was so handsome he looked like he had walked out a painting was standing there instead. He stood there quietly, and his extraordinarily clever eyes looked at her smilingly. "Ling Yan." Yi Qingtang stopped when she saw Ling Yan. Her expression showed a faint trace of bewilderment. "Yes, it's me." Ling Yan nodded. "What about Han Sangming?" Yi Qingtang asked in surprise. She clearly remembered seeing the Lord of the Antiquities Palace. "Don't know." Ling Yin shook his head laughingly. He immediately extended his hand to Yi Qingtang and said, "Come." Yi Qingtang was rather puzzled, but she walked towards Ling Yin without thinking much about it. After all, she and Ling Yin were friends. "Where's this place? Why am I here?" "You, and why are you here?" Yi Qingtang's expression grew increasingly puzzled. She momentarily could not recall what had happened. Her mind seemed rather fuzzy. It was as if she was wanting to think of something, but she could not recall anything. "Here." Ling Yin looked around him. "Of course, this is a place for newlyweds." "Newlyweds?" Yi Qingtang was stunned. She studied her surroundings again and suddenly realized that the arrangements in the room had changed drastically. The originally dim room was now brightly lit with red candles. The interior was hung with bright red silks, turning the entire room into a sea of bright red. "You're married? Who did you marry?" "Congratulations." Yi Qingtang suddenly snapped out of her trance. She felt that something was amiss, but when she tried to pursue the thought, a voice in her mind seemed to tell her that this was the way things should be. Yi Qingtang immediately opened her space ring. Since it was Ling Yan's wedding day, of course, she had to congratulate him. She had originally thought of finding something in the space ring as a wedding present, but now she realized that there was nothing in her space ring. "I'm sorry. I came here in a hurry and didn't bring a wedding present." Yi Qingtang lifted her eyes with an apologetic look. "You did bring one." The corners of Ling Yan's mouth turned up slightly. His half-smiling eyes slowly passed over Yi Qingtang's entire body. Chapter 9:23, Faced with Beauty. 4. Then he approached slowly and gently grasped Yi Qingtang's small hand. Without waiting for Yi Qingtang to respond, Ling Yin tugged at Yi Qingtang and pulled her into his embrace. "You are the biggest wedding present." Yi Qingtang was shocked. What was going on? Was Ling Yin manipulating her? "Miss Yi, could you have forgotten?" Ling Yin said as he gently held Yi Qingtang in his embrace. "I've said it before. Since you have nothing to repay me with, you should marry me." Ling Yin laughed softly, not giving Yi Qingtang a chance to speak. Of course, Yi Qingtang understood what those words meant. It was just that Yi Qingtang had thought that Ling Yin was manipulating her, so she had acted dumb and did not give Ling Yin a chance to manipulate her. Right now, Yi Qingtang could not recall why and when Ling Yin had first said these words. "That's enough." Yi Qingtang pushed Ling Yin aside almost instinctively. What was that Ling Yin plotting now? However, Yi Qingtang's push sent Ling Yin flying. Ling Yin knocked against something and fell to the ground, fainting. Yi Qingtang wiped her forehead. She had pushed him instinctively, forgetting that Ling Yan's martial cultivation was truly, with her current ability, how could he withstand that kind of damage from her? "Ling Yin, are you all right?" Yi Qingtang could not help but feel somewhat worried when she saw the unresponsive Ling Yin lying on the ground. If she had really hurt this fellow, then she was really... Ling Yin was the one who had brought about her rebirth. Ling Yin had also helped her many times in the past. Yi Qingtang asked herself whether she was someone who repaid good for evil. She immediately hurried forward and helped Ling Yin up. Just as Yi Qingtang helped Ling Yin up, Ling Yan's closed eyes suddenly opened. It was as if his narrow eyes were filled with stars. He gazed unblinkingly at Yi Qingtang, who was just inches away. Yi Qingtang could not help but be taken aback by this pair of eyes that stared at her unwaveringly. But before Yi Qingtang could return to her senses, Ling Yin suddenly raised his head and pressed against Yi Qingtang. Ling Yin's speed was shocking. Yi Qingtang was completely unable to react. Under Yi Qingtang's surprised gaze, Ling Yin's smiling lips peremptorily kissed Yi Qingtang. He gained the initiative and pulled Yi Qingtang into his embrace with one arm. This outrageous invasion was akin to a king occupying a territory. When she felt the warmth of his lips, Yi Qingtang suddenly came to her senses and pushed Ling Yin aside. "You dare manipulate me?" Yi Qingtang glared at Ling Yin angrily. Ling Yin only looked at Yi Qingtang with a half-smile. It was as if some warmth lingered at the corners of Yi Qingtang's lips. As she looked at the half-smiling Ling Yin, Yi Qingtang took a deep breath and said, "If I don't kill you today, my name is not Yi Qingtang." Yi Qingtang immediately drew her regicide skyblade and slashed at Ling Yan. When he saw Yi Qingtang coming at him with her knife, Ling Yan only shook his head. "Do you want to murder your dear husband on your wedding night? Dear your head." Yi Qingtang glared at Ling Yan. "Damn his wedding night. To hell with murdering her dear husband. If my wife wishes to kiss my head, then as a husband, I have no choice but to obey." Ling Yan laughed softly, and his eyes filled with a doting expression. Chapter 9:24 Faced with Beauty 5. You're toying with me. If I don't mix you up today, my name is not Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang's slashed out with her sword, but Ling Yan's figure floated backward. "Of course your name is not Yi Qingtang. After you marry me, you will take my surname, of course. I can also take your surname." Ling Yan laughed. Yi Qingtang was rendered speechless. Before she could make her next move, the void exploded. Large amounts of dense fog rolled in, obscuring Yi Qingtang's vision. With that, Ling Yan's figure also vanished slowly. When Yi Qingtang came back to her senses, she was standing next to a stream in a valley. Yi Qingtang's expression was one of shock. The stream in front of her was so familiar. What had just happened? Yi Qingtang vaguely felt that she had just experienced something, but she drew a blank after careful thought. All she could remember was the divine phoenix telling them that the next stage was lust. Her memory was frozen at the moment when the divine phoenix had last spoken. Yi Qingtang had no memory of what had happened after that. Yi Qingtang immediately studied her surroundings. All the powerful people present were in a daze. They stood motionless at their original spots, as if they had been asleep. Only Yin Yang Child was frowning and looking around him, and he seemed to be more normal. "You are the second trialist to have resisted temptation," a scarlet image in the void said to Yi Qingtang. "Resisted temptation?" Yi Qingtang frowned slightly. She had no recount of what had just happened. With that, Yi Qingtang thought of something. "Second? Then the first is..." Yi Qingtang instinctively looked at Yin Yang Child. "Do you need to ask?" "Of course it's me." Yin Yang Child laughed coldly. The corners of Yi Qingtang's lips twitched a little. Yin Yang Child was at most 13 or 14. What use was the so-called temptation by beauty to him? Yi Qingtang could not understand what Yin Yang Child had to be proud of. If he was not the first to emerge, that would be truly preposterous. However, Yi Qingtang sank in a deep thought. She was the second person to resist temptation. This meant the so-called temptation by beauty was either by gorgeous women or handsome men. Yi Qingtang did not know what degree of temptation the divine phoenix had used at this stage. She did not have any memories. To Yi Qingtang, being faced with beauty was no great difficulty. With her many experiences in her past life, she had already learned to look beyond beauty that was skin-deep. She had never been worried about this test. "Your luck is pretty good." While Yi Qingtang was thinking, the divine phoenix spoke suddenly. "My luck is pretty good?" Yi Qingtang was taken back. "What does Lord Divine Phoenix mean?" "You almost succumbed," the divine phoenix said. Yi Qingtang widened her eyes in disbelief. She had almost succumbed? Impossible. What kind of handsome man could cause her to almost succumb? Yi Qingtang had been pretty confident of her self-control, but the divine phoenix's words caused doubt to arise in her heart. Was there someone on earth who could use his good looks to sway her? In that case, Lord Divine Phoenix. Who was it who almost caused me to succumb? Yi Qingtang's expression was one of curiosity. She really wanted to know what kind of handsome man had caused her heart to waver. "How would I know who he is?" the divine phoenix said blandly. Yi Qingtang's expression was rather strange. If what the divine phoenix said was true, and it was all an enchantment, then the scenes and people that appeared must be derived from the thoughts of the trial takers. But the divine phoenix's enchantment skills were too profound, and Yi Qingtang found it difficult to judge the situation. In addition, she did not remember the events that she saw and experienced in the enchantment. Now, she could only guess a part of it. Time slipped past, as Yi Qingtang pondered deeply. After a moment, many of the men and women slowly awoke. Their expressions were dazed, and they looked about them in confusion. Based on their appearance, it was obvious that they could not recall what had happened. After about an hour, more than half the people had woken up, including Yi Qingtang and Yin Yang Child. The other half of the trial takers were absorbed in the divine phoenix's enchantment and were unable to extricate themselves. Based on the faint, flickering expressions of those who were absorbed, she knew that they were enraptured and unable to extricate themselves. Everyone, congratulations on passing the trial at this stage. The divine phoenix spoke slowly after some time had passed. The divine phoenix's words caused everyone present to exchange glances. They had passed the third stage's trial of beauty, but they could not remember anything. They were completely ignorant of the circumstances of the trial or how they had passed it. Many of them were rather curious about the process of the test, but no matter how hard they searched their minds, they could not remember a single thing. No matter how curious they were, they remained unsatisfied. Naturally, if the divine phoenix did not bring it up, they would not ask about it either. Apart from you, the remaining trial takers were not resolute enough. They have sunk into the temptation of beauty and are unable to extricate themselves. They have already been eliminated. As the divine phoenix spoke, the bodies of the 10+ men and women who had not woken up slowly became transparent. In the span of a few breaths, they were sent out by the divine phoenix. They were probably still sunk in the trial, enraptured by the flood of beauty. They did not know that they had lost their chance to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. The tests of the inheritance of the divine phoenix were like that. No matter how many stages you passed, as long as you failed one stage, you would be immediately eliminated. After successive trials at each stage, in the end, only one person could obtain the inheritance. Lord Divine Phoenix, if I may ask, how many more stages do we have to pass? Black and White Holy Sun asked as he looked at the scarlet image in the void. There is one last stage, said the Divine Phoenix. There is only one last stage. When they heard the Divine Phoenix's words, the remaining 10+ cultivators relaxed. The Divine Phoenix's trials were really confusing. It was impossible to guard against its dreamlike enchantment skills. Even the most confident of them was unable to predict whether they would be able to pass the unknown test. Fortunately, there was only one last stage left. However, the last stage would probably be difficult. No matter what, only one person could obtain the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix. The rest would be eliminated. The Divine Phoenix immediately led everyone forward. After a while, Yi Qingtang and the others who had followed the Divine Phoenix arrived at an underground palace. This is the moment the door of the underground palace opened. A rich display of lights and colors illuminated their eyes. They saw at a glance that the large palace contained countless rare treasures and gems. They were casually piled into heaps and glittered with numerous sparkles. The treasures were as numerous as the stars, dazzling everyone's eyes. At the entrance of the palace was a huge altar. Next to the altar were scattered many long-lost Dharma treasures. Divine Virtual Pagoda is at the legendary Oracle Bell. Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. As they looked at legendary lost Dharma treasures, they were almost unable to believe their eyes. Some even secretly pinched their thighs, trying to prove that what they saw was reality and not something created by the Divine Phoenix's enchantment skills. "What is this, Lord Divine Phoenix? This is Black and White Holy Sun," asked the scarlet figure in the void. "All this is part of the inheritance," the Divine Phoenix said slowly. The Divine Phoenix's words immediately stunned everyone. Every item present was extremely valuable. They would be content to obtain any one of them. As everyone can see, the Divine Phoenix said, the fourth stage involves gains and losses. Gains and losses? Absolute Monarch of Heaven pondered this for a moment, but still did not understand the meaning behind the Divine Phoenix's words. "That's right," the Divine Phoenix said. "Loss means to lose the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix. Gain means to gain these Dharma treasures. Every trial taker is free to equally share out all the treasure here. But the price of this is the loss of the true inheritance of the Divine Phoenix. This, Everyone present was stunned. They had not expected the fourth stage to be like this. Similarly, if anyone persists in obtaining the inheritance of the divine phoenix, then they are not destined to have these Dharma treasures. However, ultimately, only one person who can obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. That is also to say, even if we give up these Dharma treasures, we may not obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. One of the cultivators said with a frown, "That's right." The divine phoenix looked at the cultivator who had spoken. For a moment, everyone was in a dilemma and did not know what to do. Of course, they were aware of the incredible value of the Dharma treasures before them. If they missed this opportunity, they might never be destined to encounter them again. However, their goal in coming here was the inheritance of the divine phoenix. This trade-off truly vexed everyone. Both outcomes were greatly alluring. Just as everyone was pondering the matter, a figure was the first to emerge from the group. Enchanting lifted her eyes and saw that the figure who had gone forward was absolute monarch of heaven. Absolute monarch of heaven's expression was completely natural. He walked straight towards the golden divine virtual pagoda. As everyone watched, absolute monarch of heaven decisively took the divine virtual pagoda. My thanks to Lord Divine Phoenix. Absolute monarch of heaven placed the divine virtual pagoda in his space ring, then cupped his fist and looked at the divine phoenix. If you choose this Dharma treasure, it is equivalent to giving up your rights to be the successor of the inheritance of the divine phoenix, the divine phoenix said. Absolute monarch of heaven was expressionless when he heard that. He nodded slightly and said, "It's all right. To me, the value of the divine virtual pagoda is sufficient." That's right. Legend has it that the divine virtual pagoda contains a very unusual space. If a cultivator enters the divine virtual pagoda to cultivate, he will achieve twice the results with half the effort. It is as if a day within the pagoda is equivalent to just an hour in the external world. Just think, even if the value of the inheritance of the divine phoenix is greater, only one person can be so lucky. If we give up the treasures here and fail to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix, won't we wish we had died? When he finished speaking, one of the cultivators immediately went forward and chose one of the Dharma treasures. Herb of heavenly life. Suddenly, an old man dressed in a black robe, with an overcast expression, looked at the plant and exclaimed in surprise. That's right. A cultivator who uses the herb of heavenly life will increase his natural lifespan by 1,000 years, the divine phoenix said. When he heard that, the black-robed old man's body quivered slightly. He had come to this land because he had only a few years left. He wanted to try his luck and to see if he could, by chance, advance his cultivation state and increase his lifespan. However, the black-robed old man had never thought that he would find the legendary herb of heavenly life here. Lord Divine Phoenix, may I take the herb of heavenly life? I give up the inheritance of the divine phoenix. The black-robed old man looked longingly at the divine phoenix. To the black-robed old man, no matter how powerful the inheritance was or how valuable the Dharma treasures were, they could not compare to extending his lifespan. Without life, what use were the Dharma treasures to him? You may, the divine phoenix said. At the divine phoenix's acquiescence, the black-robed old man's eyes filled with wild joy. He immediately carefully kept the herb of heavenly life. Everyone present knew the value of the divine virtual pagoda and the herb of heavenly life. Previously, some of them suspected that the treasures before them were created by the divine phoenix's enchantment skills. But now, they saw with their own eyes that absolute monarch of heaven and the black-robed old man had successively placed the divine virtual pagoda and the herb of heavenly life in their own space rings. Only then did they believe that all this was real. At that moment, everyone was amazed by the divine phoenix's generosity. It was actually giving away these treasures. One must understand that if any one of these treasures were found outside, it would cause many conflicts. It must be said that these Dharma treasures were more tempting to them than the real inheritance of the divine phoenix. Just as everyone was exclaiming in amazement, Yi Qingtang's eyes were suddenly drawn to a bronze mirror. It was just an ordinary bronze mirror, except that a circle of strange totems was carved around its borders. These totems seemed to be covered by a layer of rust and looked extremely ancient. Among the heap of treasures, this bronze mirror was not outstanding. But at that moment, it attracted Yi Qingtang's full attention. Mirror of Illusions. Legend had it that this Dharma treasure that could transform all martial skills into matter. At that moment, Yi Qingtang looked in amazement at the bronze mirror. Her expression held a rarely seen look of shock. Yi Qingtang had heard about the Mirror of Illusions in her previous life. It could be considered a sacred mirror. Even when she had become a holy venerate, she had not been destined to obtain a Dharma treasure like this. Yi Qingtang previously had not thought much about the pile of treasures before her. But when she saw the Mirror of Illusion, she was somewhat tempted. The Mirror of Illusions could convert any force into pure material energy, no matter how great the force. For example, if Yi Qingtang faced a Paragon-level cultivator and the Paragon slashed out with an apocalyptic stroke of his sword, if the Mirror of Illusions shone on it, then the sword gleam would be transformed into stone, or rain, or some completely ordinary material that had almost no lethality. It could be used to block the martial skills of the most powerful cultivator. Would it not be wonderful to have such an object with her? Ah, the Mirror of Illusions. I never thought that I would see this Dharma treasure in my lifetime. The man in black armor had also noticed the Mirror of Illusions. He instinctively took a step forward. His body quivered, and his expression became extremely agitated. It's just a lousy mirror. What good is it? Yang Child saw how agitated the man in black armor was and quietly took a step forward. Yang Child glanced disdainfully at the ordinary-looking ancient mirror. Lousy mirror? The man in black armor looked at Yang Child and laughed coldly. Little fellow, you don't know anything. Why don't we give it a try? Ah, I'm afraid you'll die under my sword, Yang Child said coldly. Lord Divine Phoenix, may I test it? The man in black armor looked at the Divine Phoenix. You may. The Divine Phoenix agreed immediately. When they heard that, everyone turned their attention in that direction. Everyone was aware of the Mirror of Illusions' reputation. Of course, they knew about its extraordinary powers, but no one had been fortunate enough to see it. At that moment, the desire to enrich their experiences naturally arose in all of them. The man in black armor picked up the Mirror of Illusions and raised his brows slightly. He said to Yang Child, "Draw your sword." Clank! The long sword was unsheathed with a crisp, ringing sound. It truly suited Yang Child. "Strike me," the man in black armor said fearlessly. "This is the first time I've heard such an unreasonable request." When he heard the man in black armor's words, Yang Child laughed coldly, and a cold light flashed across his eyes. Since the Divine Phoenix had already agreed that they could act, he had no restraint. As he spoke, Yang Child flicked his wrist. The long sword glittered with cold light as it swept towards the man in black armor. Swoosh! A frightening howl emerged. A visible sword gleam swept towards the man in black armor with great speed. However, the man in black armor did not panic. He raised the Mirror of Illusions in his hand slightly. In the next second, a strange luster appeared on the Mirror of Illusions under everyone's disbelieving gaze. The sword gleam from Yang Child's stroke was immediately transformed into blocks of wood. Clank! 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 The wooden blocks fell heavily to the ground. The man in black armor stood at the same spot, untouched. The formless sword gleam had actually been transformed by the Mirror of Illusions into blocks of wood. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, no one in this world would believe that such a thing could happen. To think that such a treasure exists, truly frightening. Everyone was stunned when they witnessed the power of the Mirror of Illusions. If they had the Mirror of Illusions, even the most terrifying strike could be defused easily. Yang child, did you see that? That was what you called a lousy mirror. The man in black armor laughed. It's still a lousy mirror. Yang child shrugged. It can block my sword gleam, but can it block my fists? Without waiting for the man in black armor to respond, Yang child stepped forward and punched the man in the face. The man in black armor was completely unprepared, and Yang child's fist smashed viciously into his face. You see, it can't block my fists, Yang child said. You have a death wish. The man in black armor roared in rage. He instantly kicked out and struck Yang child squarely in the stomach. The force of the kick sent Yang child flying. You wanted to give it a try. How dare you retaliate? Yang child clambered up and shouted in rage. I allowed you to unsheathe your sword and strike me, but I didn't allow you to hit me with your fists, the man in black armor said. They'll kill you. Yang child was enraged. He struck a pose, ready to fight to the death with the man in black armor. How dare you? The divine phoenix suddenly shouted coldly. When the divine phoenix spoke, Yang child and the man in black armor fell silent. They immediately retreated and did not dare to make a false move. Lord Divine Phoenix, I don't want the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix. I want this. After a moment, the man in black armor spoke to the Divine Phoenix. What are the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix? Just the mirror of illusions was enough. All right, the Divine Phoenix nodded. But I need to warn you that the mirror of illusions was refined by the ancestor of the Divine Phoenix. Only those of the Divine Phoenix's bloodline can use it. To someone without the bloodline of the Divine Phoenix, it will just be a piece of useless metal. You need to have the bloodline of the Divine Phoenix to use it. The man in black armor was stunned. Then he frowned and said, Lord Divine Phoenix, I don't have the bloodline of the Divine Phoenix. But as everyone saw with their own eyes, I used the mirror of illusions just now. That's because this is the place of my death. The surroundings are imbued with the power of my bloodline, and that's why you could use it. The Divine Phoenix explained. When he heard the Divine Phoenix's words, the eyes of the man in black armor were immediately veiled with immense disappointment. In that case, even if the mirror of illusions fell into his hands, it would be completely useless. The bloodline of the Phoenix can use it. Amongst the group, a delicate-looking girl looked thoughtful. A hot luster shone in her eyes, but the luster quickly vanished, and she returned to normal. Although some of the Dharma treasures here cannot compare to the mirror of illusions, they're not very different in terms of grade. The Divine Phoenix spoke again. When he heard that, the man in black armor cheered up and went to select another Dharma treasure. The others had personally witnessed the power of the mirror of illusions, and their thoughts had also changed. The inheritance of the Divine Phoenix might be good, but ultimately, only one person could obtain it. None of them could be sure that they would be the lucky one. If they stood firm and did not obtain the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix, they might also not be destined to have these Dharma treasures. After weighing the pros and cons, almost everyone chose to select a Dharma treasure that they were certain to get. After all, the value of these Dharma treasures was already sufficient for them. They did not have to fight to the end for the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix. As the saying goes, a bird in hand was better than two in the bush. As everyone was choosing their Dharma treasure, there were two figures that did not move. Are the two of you intending to forego these Dharma treasures? The Divine Phoenix looked at Yi Qingtang and a girl in green, who had not chosen a Dharma treasure. At that moment, only the two of them had not moved. Lord Divine Phoenix, I wish to try for the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix, the girl in green said. Me too, Yi Qingtang replied. Ling Yin had told her that the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix would surely be hers. For some reason, to date, Yi Qingtang had great faith in Ling Yan's judgment and did not doubt it in the least. Otherwise, Yi Qingtang would certainly have taken the mirror of illusions and left. Since Ling Yan had personally said it, Yi Qingtang would believe him this time. The Divine Phoenix nodded after obtaining Yi Qingtang and the girl in green's responses. The Divine Phoenix looked at Absolute Monarch of Heaven and the other 10 over people and said, These Dharma treasures are part of the inheritance. Since you have obtained these Dharma treasures, it is equivalent to obtaining part of the inheritance of the divine phoenix. However, there is a condition. What condition is it? Absolute monarch of heaven asked. In the future, you cannot be at odds with the divine phoenix's successor. As far as possible, you must help and assist the divine phoenix, the divine phoenix said. I see. I agree. Absolute monarch of heaven thought for a while and agreed readily. The divine phoenix was probably doing this to pave the way for the only person who obtained the inheritance of the divine phoenix. Once they took the Dharma treasures here, in the future, they could not oppose the successor of the divine phoenix and also needed to give a certain amount of help. No wonder the divine phoenix was so generous. In order to obtain these treasures, everyone had no choice but to agree. The successor of the divine phoenix would certainly be either Yi Qingtang or the girl in green. As there was no enmity between them and Yi Qingtang or the girl in green, of course, they would not oppose them in the future. They also had no problem helping them as much as possible. This was nothing compared to the Dharma treasures. Lord Divine Phoenix, in the future, if the successor of the Divine Phoenix needs any help, I will do my best, said the old man in black, who had obtained the herb of heavenly life, as he went forward. So will I. No problem at all. In the future, all of us can be considered as kin to the Divine Phoenix. It is natural that we should help each other. The 10+ cultivators spoke readily. Mere words are not enough. You must sign the heavenly Tao blood pact, said the divine phoenix. The 10 over-cultivators had no choice but to sign the heavenly Tao blood pact with the divine phoenix. In the future, they must not oppose the successor of the divine phoenix and needed to provide as much help as they could. If they failed to do so, they would suffer the effects of the heavenly Tao blood pact. Very well. Now that you have obtained part of my inheritance, you are considered my disciples. I hope we will be destined to meet again. The divine phoenix was relieved. With that, the bodies of the 10+ people slowly vanished as they were sent out by the divine phoenix. At that moment, only Yi Qingtang and the girl in green were left in the palace. The inheritance of the divine phoenix will emerge among the two of you, said the divine phoenix. When they heard that, Yi Qingtang nodded, but the girl in green expressed her thanks. I will test your martial talent, spirit root, and bloodlines. As the divine phoenix spoke, it moved over to the girl in green. A scarlet glow shrouded in the girl in green. Top martial talents, blue spirit root among the red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue and purple of the mortal world, shrouded by the scarlet glow. The girl in green's talent and spirit root were completely exposed. Blue spirit root. Yi Qingtang was thoughtful. This was no ordinary girl. One must know that a blue spirit root had not appeared for many years in this mainland. At that time, Yi Qingtang's spirit root was already considered extremely rare in this mainland, and it was only a green spirit root. But the girl in front of her was actually a blue spirit root. However, before Yi Qingtang had time to think further, an image of the divine phoenix emerged from the girl in green's body. Phoenix bloodline. When it saw the girl's phoenix bloodline, the divine phoenix's eyes showed a trace of surprise that quickly transformed into joy. If the successor of the divine phoenix had the phoenix bloodline, that would be even better. Phoenix bloodline. Yi Qingtang was stunned. She had not thought that this girl in green would possess the phoenix bloodline. Ling Yin, your calculations had better be correct. At that moment, Yi Qingtang felt a little worried. This girl in green had not behaved unusually and had not attracted anyone's attention. Who would have thought she would be so extraordinary? Very good. After a long time, the divine phoenix nodded at the girl in green. It was extremely satisfied with the girl in green's condition. The inheritance of the divine phoenix seemed to be tailor-made for her. Lord Divine Phoenix, since that is the case, is it still necessary to continue? The girl in green was not at all surprised by the outcome. Her delicate-looking face was filled with self-confidence. She glanced at Yi Qingtang out of the corner of her eye. Of course, we must continue. It's the rule, replied the divine phoenix. A scarlet gleam immediately shrouded Yi Qingtang. Superior martial talent, yellow spirit root among the red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple of the mortal world. The divine phoenix muttered in disappointment. The truth was that no matter what kind of spirit root Yi Qingtang had, it was not important to the divine phoenix. Even if the girl in green had a red spirit root, she still had the phoenix bloodline. Yi Qingtang saw that if matters continued in this vein, she would not be destined to obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. With a flash of light, a golden image of a phoenix emerged behind Yi Qingtang, and the call of the phoenix rang out from her mouth. The next moment, golden flames erupted from Yi Qingtang's body. At that moment, Yi Qingtang's entire body was covered in flames. Added to the image of the phoenix behind her, her entire person looked like a divine phoenix undergoing the rise of the phoenix. This scene caused the divine phoenix's expression to change. Ultimate origin skill, Rise of the Phoenix. When the girl in green saw the golden image of a phoenix behind Yi Qingtang, she wrinkled her elegant brows slightly. The ultimate origin skill was derived from paragon skills. Although it was not part of the phoenix bloodline, to be able to understand the paragon skill related to the phoenix meant that the person had a close connection with the phoenix. Her paragon skill was already so formidable. What's more, it was her ultimate origin skill. Legend had it that, before the world was created, a true God existed in the universe. After the world appeared, the true God fell, and every true God was subject to rebirth, and they were reborn as humans. According to legends, once any cultivator understood the paragon skill, it was as if his body remembered the genetic composition of the true God and longed to return to its shrine. Those who understood ultimate origin skill were even more powerful. In other words, this girl who had understood the ultimate origin skill, Rise of the Phoenix, was even more suited to the inheritance of the divine phoenix than the girl in green with the phoenix bloodline. Yes, not bad. The divine phoenix withdrew the scarlet glow and said to Yi Qingtang, "If I may ask the Lord Divine Phoenix, which of us is more suitable to be your successor?" The girl in green asked, "Although you are very suitable, unfortunately, she is even more suitable," said the divine phoenix. "What?" When she heard the divine phoenix's reply, the smile was wiped off the girl in green's face. The girl in green had not expected the divine phoenix to respond like that. The truth was that the girl in green was from a mutated, demonic bloodline, which could absorb the power of all the bloodlines in the world. Half a year ago, she had killed a girl who had the phoenix bloodline, then used her own mutated demonic bloodline to swallow her opponent's phoenix bloodline and transformed it into a part of herself. This time, she had relied on her possessing the phoenix bloodline and was certain that she could obtain the inheritance of the divine phoenix. That was why she had not wavered at all when faced with the Dharma treasures earlier. Yet who would have thought this would be the outcome? Is that so? The girl in green's icy cold look fell on Yi Qingtang. "Then I must congratulate you." Yi Qingtang frowned slightly when she sensed the cold gleam that shimmered in the eyes of the girl in green. This girl, who peak martial talents, a blue spirit root, and phoenix bloodline, gave one a sense of inscrutable power. She could also tell that after the divine phoenix chose her as its successor, the girl in green would be very hostile towards her. "Go back." Without giving Yi Qingtang an opportunity to speak, the divine phoenix issued a command, and the girl in green's body turned transparent before she was sent out. Now, only Yi Qingtang and the divine phoenix were left in the empty palace. "You have ultimate origin skill and are related to the phoenix. You are best suited to be my successor and follow in my footsteps," said the divine phoenix. "Thank you, Lord Divine Phoenix." Yi Qingtang thanked the divine phoenix and could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Ling Yan's judgment was truly startling in its accuracy. "I will also give you the Mirror of Illusions." With that, the Mirror of Illusions that had been abandoned by the others drifted by itself to Yi Qingtang's hand. Yi Qingtang's eyes brightened slightly. She had thought that after she had chosen the inheritance of the divine phoenix, she was no longer destined to have the Mirror of Illusions. Who knew? Yi Qingtang immediately accepted the Mirror of Illusions. She was extremely grateful to the Divine Phoenix. "Come with me," said the Divine Phoenix. After a short while, Yi Qingtang had followed the Divine Phoenix into the depths of the palace. In front of them was a gigantic skeleton which gave off an indescribable, terrible majesty. This skeleton had died many moons ago. Even so, the moment one went near, its terrible power burst forth. The powerful majesty transformed into a frightening might that seemed to shroud the entire world. Yi Qingtang looked at the Divine Phoenix in shock. "As you can see, these are my bones," said the Divine Phoenix. The Divine Phoenix had died millions of years ago. The scarlet image today was just a remnant of its divine sense. "I see." Yi Qingtang studied the skeleton with a shocked expression. In her 2 lives, this was the first time she was seeing the existence of such a frightening thing. This must be a mature, fiend celestial beast at the initial grade. It contained more power than even Yi Qingtang could imagine. Even after the little white tiger reached maturity, it would not be as powerful. "Greetings, Senior." Little white tiger suddenly popped its head out of Yi Qingtang's arms and spoke to the scarlet image. "Oh." The Divine Phoenix studied little white tiger and said thoughtfully, "Are you from the White Tiger clan of the 4 fiend celestial beasts?" "Yes, Senior Divine Phoenix." Little white tiger nodded obediently. When the Divine Phoenix was nearing the peak of its initial grade, little white tiger's father had probably not been born. "Yes, not bad. You are unusual to be able to tame a young fiend celestial beast from the White Tiger clan." The Divine Phoenix looked at Yi Qingtang and spoke in relief. "Kneel." The Divine Phoenix suddenly spoke, without waiting for Yi Qingtang to reply. When she heard that, Yi Qingtang knelt without hesitation and bowed to the Divine Phoenix. "From now on, you're my successor. In the future, if you meet the Divine Phoenix clan, you must treat them well. Do you understand?" asked the Divine Phoenix. "I understand," said Yi Qingtang. "Very well. Arise," said the Divine Phoenix. With that, Yi Qingtang rose slowly. "Leave us for a while. I have something I need to say to her," said the Divine Phoenix as it looked at the little white tiger in Yi Qingtang's arms. "Yes, Senior." Little white tiger jumped from Yi Qingtang's arms to the ground. It also dragged out the little lightning dragon and vanished without a trace. "What is your name?" The Divine Phoenix looked at Yi Qingtang. "My surname is Yi. My name is Qingtang." Yi Qingtang answered truthfully. "Qingtang, you are my successor. I will transfer the true bloodline of the Divine Phoenix to you." As the Divine Phoenix spoke, the scarlet glow transformed into a scarlet roaring flame that immediately engulfed Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang was not harmed by this indescribable flame. Instead, the golden flame in her body seemed to resonate with it and leaped forth. Chapter 933 Inheritance of the Bloodline 4 At that moment, it was as if Yi Qingtang was wrapped in a small sun. Her entire body radiated with a startling glow. "This is the purest power of my inheritance. You will need time to break it down and integrate it. You cannot leave until you have absorbed the entire power of the inheritance," said the Divine Phoenix as it looked at Yi Qingtang. When she heard that, Yi Qingtang nodded slightly. However, she could help but be shocked. The power of the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix was so great that it was frightening. "Having obtained my inheritance, I hope that you will agree to a condition." The Divine Phoenix thought for a long time before it spoke. "Condition?" Yi Qingtang was slightly taken aback by the Divine Phoenix's words, but immediately asked, "What does the Lord Divine Phoenix require of me?" "My clan." The Divine Phoenix finally spoke after a long pause. "The Phoenix clan of the 4 fiend celestial beasts." Yi Qingtang looked thoughtful. "That's right, the Phoenix clan." The Divine Phoenix nodded. "I died too long ago. Today, only a trace of my remaining spirit is speaking to you. However, when I was dying, I could sense that something changed in my clan. Their aura dissipated slowly, as if they were under some kind of indescribable oppression." "Oppression?" Yi Qingtang looked shocked and was even a little disbelieving. As one of the 4 fiend celestial beasts, the Phoenix clan was incredibly powerful. They did not lack mature phoenixes. Even those of the initial grade would still exist within the clan. Who in this world could oppress the Phoenix clan? Even the legendary true god would not be able to easily achieve that. Yi Qingtang suddenly remembered that it was not just the Phoenix clan. She had heard Little White Tiger mention that its clan and parents, the White Tiger clan, were also one of the 4 fiend celestial beasts. However, from the bits and pieces that Little White Tiger had told her, Yi Qingtang had discerned that the White Tiger clan seemed to have encountered some kind of startling change. Now, Yi Qingtang heard from the Divine Phoenix that the Phoenix clan might have encountered some kind of oppression. Further, the Phoenix clan and the White Tiger clan both belonged to the 4 fiend celestial beasts. Perhaps there was some kind of connection between the 2 of them? Lord Divine Phoenix, I will do my best to investigate and find out the truth. Yi Qingtang spoke after a long pause. No need to force the matter. Your life is more important, said the Divine Phoenix. To repress the Phoenix clan of the 4 fiend celestial beasts, the entity must possess supernatural martial power. It was a pity that the Divine Phoenix had died millions of years ago and was unable to leave this place to return to the habitat of the Phoenix clan. It was also unsure what had actually happened to the Phoenix clan. I will remember, promised Yi Qingtang. In the future, when you have grown, you must remember where your inheritance is from. You must do your utmost to help me find out the truth. After that, return here and tell me the truth, said the Divine Phoenix. Lord Divine Phoenix, please don't worry. I understand. Yi Qingtang nodded. Yi Qingtang was very respectful of the Divine Phoenix. Even though it had died millions of years, it still had a deep longing for the Phoenix clan. In this world, few could do as the Divine Phoenix had done. To Yi Qingtang, whether it was the Phoenix clan or the White Tiger clan, they all held special meaning in her heart. In both lifetimes, Yi Qingtang never thought that she would have any connection to a fiend celestial beast. However, after her rebirth, she first became linked to the Little White Tiger and then obtained the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix to become the only descendant of the Divine Phoenix. It seemed that she had an unknown fate with fiend celestial beasts in this life. In the Divine Phoenix's warm envelopment, about half a month had slipped by unconsciously. During this period of time, the blood in Yi Qingtang's body seemed to be cleansed over and over again. Currently, her blood had turned into scorching flames of which the divine might was unstoppable. The original Divine Phoenix bloodline. At this moment, Yi Qingtang's eyes were burning. Bloodlines were divided into ranks as well. For the Phoenix bloodline, there had been too many renewals of bloodline since the primordial era, but the purest form was the original bloodline. Yi Qingtang's bloodline was personally imparted by the Divine Phoenix and was the purest form. In the case of the girl in green from before, although she also had the Phoenix bloodline, it was not as pure as Yi Qingtang's original Phoenix bloodline. The difference and hierarchy between both bloodlines was like that of a monarch and a subject. Qingtang, how is your current cultivation base after absorbing a large amount of the power of the bloodline? The Divine Phoenix asked some time later. Yi Qingtang hurriedly replied, Lord Divine Phoenix, I have already advanced from Yin Yang 3rd heaven to 5th heaven. 5th heaven, hearing that Yi Qingtang only entered the 5th heaven, the Divine Phoenix was taken aback. According to logic, even if the person was an extremely ordinary person without any martial skills, their martial cultivation would at least enter the arcane supremacy realm after obtaining its inheritance. Yi Qingtang was already at the Yin-Yang perfected Lord 3rd heaven realm before this. Yet she only advanced 2 small realms after inheriting large amounts of the power of its bloodline. Lord Divine Phoenix. Did something happen? Yi Qingtang's heart skipped a beat when she heard the odd tone in the Divine Phoenix's voice. Don't panic first. It'll take a look after you have completely combined and absorbed the bloodline inheritance, said the Divine Phoenix. Since the Divine Phoenix said that, Yi Qingtang did not say anything and could only continue to wait. The burning sensation which enveloped Yi Qingtang was like the rays of a mini-sun that dimmed over time. Another half a month later, all of the flames were completely absorbed by Yi Qingtang. What is your cultivation realm now? The divine phoenix opened its eyes and looked at Yi Qingtang, who had finished absorbing all of the powers of its bloodline. Lord Divine Phoenix, I am currently in the Yang Lord realm, and at the peak of the seventh heaven. Yi Qingtang answered. Peak of Yin Yang perfected, Lord Seventh Heaven. You haven't reached the eighth heaven. What exactly is going on? The Divine Phoenix's tone was extremely strange. The Divine Phoenix was immensely confident in its bloodline inheritance. According to logic, after absorbing its bloodline inheritance completely, Yi Qingtang should at least be able to advance to the Divine Arcane Supremacy realm and even be at the Heavenly Venerate realm. Even those ordinary humans without any martial cultivation should be able to enter the Divine Arcane Supremacy realm after obtaining its inheritance. Yet Yi Qingtang, who possessed a high martial gift and the blessing of the ultimate origin skill, Rise of the Phoenix, only advanced 4 small realms. How could this be possible? That's not right. What exactly went wrong? The Divine Phoenix mumbled as it pondered deeply. A while later, the Divine Phoenix finally looked at Yi Qingtang and said, I need to look at your body again. Yi Qingtang was extremely cooperative and nodded her head in agreement with the Divine Phoenix's request. Very quickly, a scarlet glow enveloped Yi Qingtang once again. Superior martial gift that is close to top-notch quality. Possession of the ultimate origin skill, Rise of the Phoenix. There is nothing wrong with this. But what exactly is the problem? The Divine Phoenix could not find an answer no matter how hard it pondered. It was as though the majority of the powers of its inheritance disappeared somewhere. Very quickly, the scarlet glow intensified, and the Divine Phoenix scanned every area of Yi Qingtang's body. Your bloodline. A long time later, the Divine Phoenix mumbled with a little surprise. Apart from its bloodline, the power of a primitive bloodline was actually hidden in Yi Qingtang's body. This bloodline had yet to be truly activated, but it was terrifyingly powerful. Is this actually the immortal and Buddha bloodline? The Divine Phoenix seemed to be in deep thought before it looked at Yi Qingtang. Have you ever been to the 4th domain? The 4th domain? Yi Qingtang shook her head in reply. Lord Divine Phoenix, I have never been to the 4th domain. Do you know that your body has the immortal and Buddha bloodline? The Divine Phoenix asked. Immortal and Buddha bloodline? Yi Qingtang was slightly startled. Why would there be the immortal and Buddha bloodline in her body? The immortal and Buddha bloodline is passed down by generations. Unless the person was a descendant of an immortal and Buddha, it is impossible for anyone to obtain the immortal and Buddha bloodline through any means. Since you have never been to the 4th domain, it should be that either your father or mother possesses the bloodline. After giving birth to you, the bloodline was inherited, and you naturally have this type of bloodline as well. The Divine Phoenix explained. My parents. Yi Qingtang's brows were slightly furrowed. She had already investigated a Nine Nights dynasty, and all the evidence pointed to the fact that her mother once appeared on this mainland. Moreover, it was extremely likely that her mother was in the Central Mainland or was just a citizen of the Central Mainland. Yet presently, the Divine Phoenix personally told her that either her father or mother possessed the immortal and Buddha bloodline. The power of this bloodline is extremely powerful, but it is still inactive. However, the immortal and Buddha bloodline is about opportunity. Perhaps it wouldn't be able to activate in this lifetime. You don't need to think too much about it. The Divine Phoenix added. I understand, said Yi Qingtang. However, the Divine Phoenix paused and continued. Even if you have the immortal and Buddha bloodline, what has it got to do with the disappearance of most of the bloodline power that I inherited to you? Without giving Yi Qingtang a chance to speak, the Divine Phoenix continued to study Yi Qingtang's body constitution. About 10 breaths later, the Divine Phoenix finally looked at Yi Qingtang's heart. How can this be? After it inspected Yi Qingtang's heart for a long time, the Divine Phoenix's expression changed suddenly. Lord Divine Phoenix, may I know what happened? Yi Qingtang asked hurriedly. Does your heart belong to you? The Divine Phoenix asked sternly. Seeing that the Divine Phoenix was so solemn, Yi Qingtang hesitated for a moment, but finally told the truth. Lord Divine Phoenix, this heart is indeed not mine. Where is it from? The Divine Phoenix asked again. The heart of the demon god is from the demon god. Helpless, Yi Qingtang could only confess everything. Impossible. How is that the heart of the demon god in your body? The Divine Phoenix exclaimed particularly solemnly. This is clearly the heart of the heavenly Tao. What has it got to do with the so-called demon god? Heart of the heavenly Tao. In both lives, it was the first time Yi Qingtang heard about this supposed heart of the heavenly Tao. What was the heart of the heavenly Tao? It was clearly the heart of the demon god in her body, but why did it become the heart of the heavenly Tao, something she had never heard before, when said by the Divine Phoenix? Qingtang, where did you get this heart from? The Divine Phoenix looked at Yi Qingtang and questioned. Confusion filled Yi Qingtang's face. Even Yi Qingtang herself did not know where exactly the heart of the demon god in her body came from. It was as though the heart of the demon god was stored in her body when she woke up from sleep. Seeing that Yi Qingtang was unaware as well, the Divine Phoenix's expression turned solemn. Qingtang, most of the inheritance's ability which I passed to you was absorbed by this heart in your body. What you obtained is only an extremely tiny portion. However, it is fortunate that the bloodline is combined rather completely. Yi Qingtang was slightly startled and in disbelief when she heard the Divine Phoenix. The heart of the demon god in her body was not the heart of the demon god, but the heart of the heavenly Tao. Furthermore, this heart even devoured the power of the inheritance which the Divine Phoenix gave her. Yi Qingtang's mind was a little confused for a moment. She truly did not know what exactly happened. The heart of the demon god, which she had always believed to be, was actually completely unrelated to the demon god. Immortal and Buddha bloodline. Heart of the heavenly Tao. I see why. A long time later, the scarlet glow on Yi Qingtang's body was collected back by the Divine Phoenix. Lord Divine Phoenix, please resolve my doubts. What exactly is going on with the heart of the heavenly Tao? Yi Qingtang looked at the Divine Phoenix with desperation to find all her answers. The heart of the heavenly Tao belongs to the heavenly Tao. Only the powers of the heavenly Tao can condense and nurture it. However, you are merely immortal, but the heart of the heavenly Tao is in your body. This is sufficient to show that you became a vessel. The Divine Phoenix stared at Yi Qingtang meaningfully. Vessel. Yi Qingtang frowned as she listened to the Divine Phoenix's explanation. I have already died for millions of years and am completely unaware of what is happening outside right now. This is merely my conjecture. Actually, it is difficult for an ordinary person to nurture the heart of the heavenly Tao. It is just that you happen to possess the immortal and Buddha bloodline in your body, which coincidentally contains a trace of the power of the great Tao. Hence, the heart of the heavenly Tao remained in your body for a long time. I don't know why you have the heart of the heavenly Tao, but it is definitely not a good thing to have it in your body, the Divine Phoenix said with a sigh. Yi Qingtang did not have anything to retort the Divine Phoenix. Indeed, this heart brought her too many disasters. Everyone thought that the heart in her body was the heart of the demon god and vied for it one after another, resulting in Yi Qingtang's eventual death in her previous life. Even Yi Qingtang herself never doubted the authenticity of the heart of the demon god. If she did not hear it from the Divine Phoenix, she probably would never doubt this heart. Qingtang, this heart of the heavenly Tao will devour your cultivation endlessly. If you didn't have this heart, you would probably already be a Yang Lord of the Yin-Yang Perfected Lord realm, and not a mere Yin-Yang Perfected Lord Third Heaven realm. With the addition of the power of my inheritance, you would already have advanced to a heavenly venerate. Pity was evident in the Divine Phoenix's voice. Lord Divine Phoenix, may I ask if there's any way to take this heart out? Yi Qingtang looked at the Divine Phoenix and asked with a frown, how long has this heart been in your body? If it's less than a month, perhaps there's still a chance for remedy, the Divine Phoenix said. It has long been over a month. Yi Qingtang replied. There's no way then. The Divine Phoenix sighed. This heart of the heavenly Tao has been in your body for a long time, and there would be dire consequences once it is taken out. Chapter 9:37 The Heart of the Heavenly Tao. 4. Misfortune may be a blessing in disguise. Qingtang, you don't need to be too worried. No one is able to determine whether it is a blessing or a disguise. Although this heart may bring you endless calamities, if you make use of it appropriately, perhaps you can reprieve from death. You must remember never to believe the heart of the heavenly Tao of yours. Otherwise, you will definitely be struck with a death calamity and cease to exist. The Divine Phoenix advised earnestly in a grave tone. Thank you for the advice, Lord Divine Phoenix. I will engrave this in my heart. Yi Qingtang thanked the Divine Phoenix. Currently, Yi Qingtang only wished to know what exactly was it with this so-called heart of the heavenly Tao in her body. How did it enter her body? Who did it belong to? Why did she become a vessel for it? What kind of presence was the mastermind who used her to nurture this heart? Qingtang, my last remaining power is already fully depleted. I hope that you can remember that you are the successor of the Divine Phoenix. When you meet any difficulties, don't retreat and brave it head-on. The Divine Phoenix's voice suddenly weakened at that instant. The Divine Phoenix had already died millions of years ago, and this last trace of spirit was just a search for the only successor. Now, the Divine Phoenix had already fulfilled its wishes, and there was no regret to be spoken of. Lord Divine Phoenix. For some reason, dejection arose within Yi Qingtang as she looked at the Divine Phoenix which was about to vanish. Immediately, Yi Qingtang knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the Divine Phoenix. Thank you, Lord Divine Phoenix. I will never forget that I am the successor of the Divine Phoenix. Good. The Divine Phoenix was gratified. In my last moment, let me give you a final present. As it spoke, a scarlet glow suddenly surged out and penetrated into Yi Qingtang's body. This scarlet glow instantly wrapped Yi Qingtang's heart of the heavenly Tao, and an extremely powerful force sealed the heart of the heavenly Tao utterly. Lord Divine Phoenix. Yi Qingtang gazed at the Divine Phoenix. Even at its very last moment, its last trace of spirit was still thinking about her. Ah! What a pity. My powers have long been depleted over the years. Otherwise, I may be able to help you with the heart of the heavenly Tao. Qingtang, remember, this heart is temporarily sealed by me, but it will not persist for long. During this period of time, it will be unable to continue devouring your cultivation, and you can strengthen yourself to become even more formidable. As the Divine Phoenix finished its sentence, the scarlet figure in the air dimmed increasingly and eventually turned into invisible energy that lingered within the palace. Lord Divine Phoenix, seeing that the Divine Phoenix had disappeared completely, Yi Qingtang had a complicated expression. However, Yi Qingtang realized that although the Divine Phoenix's last trace of spirit had vanished, its energy was shackled in this palace. If I could obtain the spirit condensation pearl, Yi Qingtang mumbled in thought. Before Yi Qingtang could think deeply about the idea, it was as though heaven and earth reversed. It seemed like the blink of an eye, yet also as long as an entire century. When Yi Qingtang opened her eyes once again, she was already outside the palace, and that palace was nowhere to be found, as if it was hidden by an enormous power. Yi Qingtang, who obtained the inheritance of the Divine Phoenix, was finally sent out. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.